Hi ladies, this is Tia, and this is probably the most important video that I've ever filmed, and the content is very personal, and but I believe that it is imperative that I share it so that more of us can speak up and more of you can know that you are not alone. About a week ago, I shared this video. I struggled with depression off and on most of my life. The longest stretch was 5 years, and it was mostly because I had not ever dealt with the fact that I was raped and molested as a child. Through counseling, trusting God, and no longer holding on to that secret and speaking up about it, I've been able to overcome every obstacle that stood in my way, including depression. If I can do it, so can you.
Everywhere, freaks and herrings, dykes and fairies, tell me where it's empty. Everywhere, freaks and herrings, dykes and fairies, tell me where it's empty.
I know that you all have been so polite and not crying, but I do want to share a little bit, not going into any graphic detail, but as you know, as you saw in the video, I actually dealt with years of depression, and I walked around for many years not realizing that I was actually depressed until I had a full 5-year stint of just being super depressed, and it got to the point where I was actually I really rarely left my house other than to take my kids to school, pick them up from school, or if I had to go to the grocery store, and I only left the house for events that if it was maybe a very close friend, very close friend, but for the most part I stayed inside of the house. I rarely left. I had horrible anxiety. I had really bad anxiety attacks. I would cry often. I had horrible insomnia. I just rarely got any sleep. When I would go to sleep, I would have these horrible dreams, and the weird thing about the dreams is that they were reoccurring, and they were often involving a lot of the same content. I won't go into any detail about the dream, but I do want to kind of share and hope that maybe someone out there can maybe relate, or maybe if you're experiencing something, to let you know again that you are not alone, and maybe to face the fact that you may be dealing with the same issues. Part of the reason that I was not getting sleep and insomnia and having the dreams was I never ever really dealt with the fact that I had been raped and molested as a child. I guess to put it so strongly, it got to the point where I couldn't even stand for my husband to touch me. Sometimes I would just have these moments or these little inklings, and something I just would get really guarded. I had huge major trust issues with people, with friends, with family members, and I just was very guarded, and I lived in this, I guess for me, what felt like this little capsule, but I would put on a front as if I was fine. I would walk around and smile because I had to. If my kids were around, I'd try to smile, but I didn't realize that I was actually very irritable with them, and they saw more of that I was trying to hide. I was hiding behind trying to be good, hiding behind trying to keep myself busy and always doing something, and all I was doing was really trying to keep my mind from going to those places. So I think when I began to realize that I was actually depressed, I knew it. I had kind of an inkling, but it really took a cousin of mine who said, "You were depressed." I mean, he just really said it. "I see what you're going through." He could see it on me. He saw how I was. He saw I rarely left my room. Again, I only came out to cook, or just everything. I couldn't get out of the bed in the mornings a lot of times because I was up in the middle of the night, afraid to go to sleep because I didn't want to deal with the dreams that I was having. And a lot of it dealt back to the molestation, or I would have something that would freak me out, and then I'd just be again afraid to go back to sleep. And I would say I knew it, but I didn't want to face it, and a lot of things I had actually blocked out of my memory. It just got to the point where I was so sad. I went to the doctor. Of course, they put me on a prescription, and I had gained so much weight. It was ridiculous. And I would be up late at night eating, and just to kind of, I don't know, soothe, or I would have like these sweet cravings and everything. And then after a while, I just started praying. I just kept praying, "God, please help me figure out what is wrong with me." I never knew what was wrong with me. I knew what was wrong with me, but I didn't want to face what was wrong with me, if you will. And after I couldn't take it anymore, I just was so, I literally was just always sad and irritable and panicky. And I literally would go and sit to get away from everybody, even my kids, or just things, responsibility, even the things that I was burying myself into as far as the work, all of that became very consuming. So I would actually go and take like hour-long showers just to be away from everybody, because it was the one place where nobody could bother me. And that became my safe place. Or I would just go hide out because I would have like these anxiety attacks, and I was trying not to burst out into tears or cry in front of my kids or in front of my husband, or try to feel like I was normal. So after a while, after kind of dealing with that for such a long time, and it became worse and worse and worse, during that time period, I sought out a friend of mine, and she is a counselor, and she actually, because we had the relationship that we had, she referred me to someone else, and I did all of my counseling over the phone. And I started out doing twice a week over the phone for an hour with my counselor. She was a counselor and a life coach, and she really helped me. But it was some of the hardest work that I ever had to do, because I had to allow these memories and secrets that I had held on to and repressed for so long. I had to allow them to come up and actually face them. And excuse me, I'm trying not to tear up, but it was very hard for me to face and accept, and even just be able to speak up about it and be able to let my mom know about it, even after all of these years, and to deal with my husband, help him to deal with me. It was just very hard. I had to do a lot of journaling. I met with her again over the phone twice a week for an hour for a good period of time. I probably sought out counseling probably for a full year, just to help me not just deal with those issues, but deal with all the other issues that that had developed from that, because it caused me to, it affected every area of my life, every relationship, the way that I handled people, the way that I did things, the way that I people pleased, the way that I dealt with my own self, the way I saw myself. I was very insecure. I didn't see myself as worthy. I didn't see myself as beautiful. I didn't see myself as even pretty. Even I wouldn't even look in the mirror, to be honest. It was a tough road, but it was the most freeing thing that I ever did. And through that, I learned to trust God again. And because honestly, I spent a full year, once I've kind of realized it or faced it, I was so angry at God. And I think for me, that's probably the saddest part. because I was so angry at him that he would allow something like that to happen to me. Why didn't he protect me? Why didn't he keep me? Why didn't something happen? Why did this happen? Why did, you know, people turn a blind eye? I had so much anger, so much resentment, so much frustration, so much hurt and resentment in me, and resentment towards God that even happened. But it took me a long time before I got to a place where I knew I couldn't live without him. I couldn't hold it against him. And I'm thankful because today I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm not, you know, somewhere just out of my mind. I'm alive. I'm here. And sometimes people go through things because he is able to use them to help you and help other people and other women and other men and other children to speak up. That is the one thing that I wish that I had ever done, was to say something and not be afraid to say something. I was afraid of hurting people, or afraid of people not believing me, or afraid of just every little thing, you know, just the threats that are made to you when you're in those kind of situations, the embarrassment, the shame, the guilt. I carried all of that with me, and I just wish that I would have spoken up. And honestly, had I spoken up, maybe somebody else in my family may not have gone through the same thing, or some other kid that someone knows. And that is the reason I'm speaking up now, because nothing hurts me to my core than to see children, kids, and grown women, grown men still having never dealt with this, and it will haunt you. I promise you, it will come back to haunt you if you don't face it. It will just do you in, just as it did me during that time. I just was in a bad place, and once I hit a certain age, it just all came back because I never ever dealt with it. So this is me encouraging you to please deal with it. Please get you some counseling, get you some help, get a prayer partner, get somebody to help you through this. Even if it's just commenting down below or sending me an email. I'll actually put my an email address below in the comment section if you just need to vent or talk or need somebody to pray for you. I'm hands down here to say that I will pray for you. I am here, and you are definitely not alone. I will also put contact information for counselors, but I just want to help you get through. To please speak up so that you can help save another child, another kid, another woman, another man, another somebody's son, daughter, even your own kids. Sometimes it's just a horrible thing, but families, out of shame and guilt and not knowing what to do about it, they turn a blind eye, and then it goes uncovered, and then it leaves the person who suffered through it feeling like nobody was there to help them. And I beg of you, please, as a mom, that you not ignore it, that you face it head on, that you do get your child to talk about it, that you do get your child counseling, that you do fight for them and go to the ends of the earth for them, to help them see that you are willing to do everything that you can to make that person who did this to you pay for what they did. On top of that, I ask you to pray for the people who did it to you, because clearly they are hurting and coming from a broken place, and something has happened to them along the way. So to break the cycle of this thing, and that is the whole point and purpose of this video and the video that you saw before. Anywho, I don't want to talk you to death, but I just wanted to share and empower you, to let you know that if I can get through this, truly you can too. I was in the darkest place of my life during this, but it has become the most freeing thing, and I'm no longer allowing it to keep me in a place of shame and guilt, and not hiding it any longer to where people won't speak up, or hiding it to where it can still hold me captive. So I ask you to join me and speak up, share this video, comment below and let me know if you've been through a similar experience, or just maybe how this video may have affected you. Until next time, I will talk to you soon. Anywho, my prayers are with you. I love you all. Thank you so much for your support and encouraging words, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.